Hi, I'm Ray Hagar, subbing for Sam Chad, and welcome to an all-new edition of Nevada Newsmakers. Today's guest is Teresa Benitez-Thompson. She's the majority floor leader at the Nevada Legislature. And on our pundit panel today, we have Dave Mulligan, Daela Gibson, and James Smack. That's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nearly 200,000 Nevadans work in retail businesses, supporting families and the community. Nevada's retail businesses generated over $2 billion in sales tax revenue in 1 year, including nearly $700 million to help our schools. Shop around and see all that Nevada's retailers offer our state.
We're the Retail Association of Nevada, representing thousands of Nevada businesses.
Businesses that work for Nevada.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Chad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Chad.
Hi, welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. Our guest today, of course, is Teresa Benitez-Thompson. She's the majority floor leader at the Nevada Legislature for the second consecutive session, I must say. Teresa, welcome to you.
Thank you for having me. Ray.
For the first time ever, the Nevada Legislature has a majority of women legislators.
Yes.
Yes. So what are we to expect from a majority of women legislators? Does that mean that you'll work with more compassion, better efficiency, maybe focus on seniors, special needs? What will it be like?
You know, I have to be honest, I think that's a hard question to answer. I think that come June, when we do a look back at the session, we can talk very factually about ways that we believe the process was changed, or that we can look back at the bills to see what passed and who was sponsoring what. But I almost feel like if we say, well, because there's more women, we're gonna be about family issues. I feel like, well, that's not necessarily true, because we have some phenomenal women who are elected that are coming to us from the business community. We have women who have made all different choices in their life. So I'm cautious about how I answer that, because I don't want to paint all women with one brush and say that we're all about one thing. I will say that I hope that what we see is that we have what I know so far is we have some phenomenal women who are elected, strong leadership abilities, amazing life experience, and I see that they are going to thrive in Nevada politics for a long time.
Okay. In the last session, a legislative investigation found that Democratic State Senator Mark Menendo violated the legislator's anti-harassment policy, and then in Congress, we had former State Senator Ruben Kihuen decide not to run because of allegations and an investigation into sexual harassment issues involving him.
Yeah, unfortunate, yeah.
Because of that, because it was finally brought to the light, this sexual harassment at the legislature, yes, and because we have a majority of women legislators, do you think that all these problems with sexual harassment will be gone from the legislature from here on out?
I don't think we take anything for granted. I think we stay steadfast in our efforts and mindful of the environment that we're creating within the legislative building. And so a couple things happening. Over the interim, the legislature did work to set up a reporting line for people who feel like they have been harassed and uncomfortable. the biggest hurdle we had is that trying to distinguish what is a rumor from what is different things that you hear out there, and what we do with that. And what we realized is one of the barriers for people reporting is that the only place they had to report to was the leadership. So they, people who felt victimized or harassed were trying to weigh, well, do I potentially end a political career because I have to go tell the speaker or the Senate Majority Leader that I've got a problem? And then you get too much politics into it. So we created a system and a phone number where people call in if they have a complaint, and then it is investigated and handled by a third party. It's not handled at the Speaker's office. It's not handled in the Senate office. An independent law firm will do an investigation, and then they come back to us with their finding. So I'm hoping that in one way that really gives people the ability to speak and to speak up and to file a complaint when they need to without having to consider some initial political fallout or concerns. The other thing that has just happened, of course, the first executive order that Governor Sisolak signed is a commission on sexual harassment and discrimination that he has now Attorney General Ford heading up. I spoke with Attorney General Ford the other day. I believe very good work is going to come out of that commission. I think that there's still lots of places in state government and some private places where good work can be done, and I believe there's more to come.
All right. Teresa, I went through your bill draft requests,
yes,
of course,
sir.
And I found 4 of them. Of course, they're very vague.
They are.
They are, but can you tell me what's going on with the bill that deals with the powers and duties of the Department of Health and Human Services, a bill draft request of yours?
Yes, so I'm very excited about this piece of legislation, and I believe that it's needed. So what this will do is give the Department of Health and Human Services the ability for them to go in and have some oversight over local jails. So you'll remember that in the past couple of years, we had a lot of deaths in the jails. The suicide number spiked in the jails, and then we had an incident in a rural county where, coming from different reports, someone wasn't getting the proper medical attention that they needed and passed because of that.
Right.
Right now, when there's a death at the jail and the hospitals at the jail, there's no way to go in, for the state to go in and do an investigation or talk to folks about what happened. From the time that patient is transported and they hit one of our hospitals, our local hospitals, the state has the ability to look at the hospitals and look at the care there, but they don't have that ability in the local jails. And so I really think that over the past couple of years, we have enough empirical evidence to say it is indeed, it's needed and very prudent to have the state, when there's incidences like suicides and just a spike in deaths in the jails, to have the state be able to go into the jail hospital system and take a look about what's happening.
Okay, you're talking about reporting done by the Reno Gazette-Journal's Jeanette Damon.
Yeah.
Very good. I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about some other BDRs.
Okay.
We'll get to it in the next group of questions. But right now, we got to take a little break. We'll be right back with Teresa Benitez-Thompson after these few words.
Tamarack Junction is South Reno's hotspot with over 450 of the latest slots and video games. Sully's Sports Bar, the Dining Car Restaurant, William Hill Sportsbook, and the Tamarack Steakhouse and Lounge. We're just north of the Summit Mall in South Virginia. Yeah.
How do you shed some light on a better economy? Start with growth inspired by Valley Electric Association. We're a member-owned power company that puts Nevada first, and we're doing big things, like providing prosperity by securing renewable energy projects. For Nevada, that means more jobs and more opportunities, all for a strong statewide economy. In other words, together, we're doing powerful things. Visit us at vea.coop to learn more.
Hi, I'm Eric Robnett, owner of Home Energy Experts. Has this ever happened to you?
Honey, did you remember to turn down the thermostat?
Forgetting to set the temperature? Not fun. We can help. Our new smart thermostat keeps the temperature set for your comfort all by itself.
I'm feeling hot now.
To increase your comfort, Go to homeenergyexperts.com for details. That's homeenergyexperts.com.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
The Tamarack Junction Steakhouse is known for signature steaks, handcrafted cocktails, and world-class wines. Join us Thursdays and Friday nights from 4:30 to 6:30 in the Steakhouse Lounge for live music, gourmet plates, and well-priced wines, just north of the Summit Mall on South Virginia.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, welcome back to the Nevada Newsmakers. Our guest, of course, is Teresa Benitez-Thompson of Reno. She's the majority floor leader at the Nevada Legislature. Teresa, another bill draft request that you had deals with governing of economic development. Can you explain that one?
Absolutely. So as a freshman in my 2011 session, the legislature came in and made a lot of changes to the Office of Economic Development. It had been housed and was the responsibility of the Lieutenant Governor. The legislation at that time took it, made it a board, and granted a lot of tax abatement authority to the Office of Economic Development. At the time, really needed and very important. Our unemployment numbers were very high. We were in the depths of the recession. We were #1 in foreclosure at this time. And an acknowledgement to Governor Sandoval, we had to make a drastic turn regarding economic development and make some investments in the state, and the legislature responded. I was a freshman sitting on taxation, listening to these hearings and talking about what this office would do and what the intent was and how we wanted to change Nevada's economy.
Right, that was 2011, wasn't
it?
Yes.
Now, in some ways, it's been in a lot of ways, amazingly successful. And I think what it's time to do is just to take a look back and say, over the course of the years, as we've added more language and more abilities and we've tried different programs, what has been the most effective? What should we continue with? And then what do we need to tidy up in a little bit of a way? One example I can think of is with the Catalyst Fund, and these are the tax abatement dollars for kind of smaller businesses, is I think we could look at a higher job threshold. Some of the jobs that we're giving for these tax abatements, there might be 5 jobs or 10 jobs or 8 jobs, but if the goal really is to the trade-off in giving abatements for jobs, and I think we could look at a higher threshold for the jobs that we're giving for those abatements. And then look at the different kinds of models that we've had when we have economic development, big incentive packages in the state. The model has been go to special session, make a case, and make a package that, while it benefits anyone who meets the criteria, is really tailored towards a specific if you will, a specific company that's coming in. And that has worked well, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to see us continue to have a very open public discourse and dialogue when big companies are coming in. I think it allows for better negotiation and better deals. I think it's very important for the community's understanding of what these packages are and what these abatements are and what the trade-offs to the state are. So I think that's a good model that we should enshrine in the language to say if we've got a really big deal coming, then it's done through a special session and the creating of a package. Then it's not kind of big packages that are living in statute that could be awarded. And the way we know is by waking up and reading it in the paper. Okay.
One of the new tax sources for the state has been recreational marijuana.
Yes.
It brought in $70 million last year. Right now, those revenues are split between the rainy day fund and also education. Some people have called for all the marijuana tax money to go to education. How do you feel about that?
So there's been so much misconception about this, but the The way that the ballot was written and that was passed by the people regarding the taxation of medical marijuana, or not medical marijuana, recreational marijuana, has held true. So that the initial tax of the 15%, that goes to education. What we did in the legislature was levy an additional tax, so more tax than what was written in the ballot question that people passed, that additional 10%. Now, while those funds are falling into the rainy day fund, we've been turning around and sticking them right back into education. So it's been more of an accounting function than anything else, but the dollars are going to education. The only thing that doesn't is a small set aside that the local governments get to charge because they handle the applications, they handle the fees, and the industry has always said that they're fine with that. But otherwise, the money is going to education.
Do you see taxes being raised at any level during this session? Since you're on the taxation committee?
I don't know how much of an appetite there is for that. The commerce tax that we put in place a couple sessions in the 2015 session is performing well. It is doing what we intended it to do. We have $500 million more this biennium to spend than we did last biennium, so we're at an $8.5 billion budget. I think the question comes back to, and the question that we'll all be asking with my legislation on the Governor's Office of Economic Development, is we want to make sure that we're not abating away too much so that our net kind of state domestic growth is actually increasing, because for a long time it wasn't. So I think the question about is the pot getting bigger, I think that's relevant. I think we just want to make sure that on the back end that our net gain is bigger.
Okay, we got to stop it right there. Thank you so much for coming in. I want to wish you the best of luck on this upcoming legislative session.
Thank you, Ray.
We'll be right back with our pundit panel right after these few words.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. Are you a homeowner who's interested in remodeling or building a home? At Design Outdoor, we can show you how adding natural or manufactured masonry stone can add beauty and value to your home. And we refer only the best contractors. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of Monte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
One of the most psychologically damaging things parents can do to children in divorce is disparage one another, which is why I can't believe I even have to make this commercial. Half of your kids' genetics come from this person you're spewing hate about. Your children have the right to love you both, but more than that, they deserve to love themselves.
Marilyn York might be a men's rights divorce attorney, but this is for every selfish parent. Shut up.
Hi, I'm Dave Newman. Remember me? I used to be the house detective, and now I'm a realtor full-time at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates. A lot of people ask me, how's the market? You know what? It's fantastic. If you're even kicking around the idea of buying or selling, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Call me at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates and just ask for the guy who used to be the house detective, Dave Newman.
Everyone is talking about opioids. But they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. Our power pundit today is, let me introduce. First, we have Daela Gibson, Planned Parenthood, Monte. And then we have James Smack, former Nevada Republican National Committeeman. And last but not least, we have Dave Mulligan, noted podcaster and author of Mulligan's Wait. Welcome to y'all.
Thanks.
James, let me start with you. Governor Sandoval, who just finished his second term of office, termed out. He has taken a job with the MGM Corporation. He announced the job shortly after Steve Sisolak was named governor. I was just wondering, does this mean he was negotiating with MGM when he was still the governor, and is there an issue with that?
Well, let me take that. Let me take that first of all. In a matter, meaning a full disclosure, I'm the Chief Deputy Controller for the state of Nevada. I'm going to be out of my position in a couple of weeks due to the change in administration in the Controller's office. That being said, my understanding is that I am under a one-year cooling off period from the Commission on Ethics for the state of Nevada, where I cannot take a position in a industry which we were regulating. Now, the Controller's office didn't regulate an awful lot of industry, but the governor of Nevada was responsible for appointing people to the Gaming Control Board, and now he's going to work for MGM. It'll be interesting to see if he got some kind of clearance from the Commission on Ethics in advance to that. Did he talk to them? Did he say, well, since you're going to be working on building business in Japan or something like that, it's not going to necessarily be a conflict of interest? And okay, what if I take a position, say, for a large accounting firm? Will that be considered a large accounting and auditing firm? Will that be considered a conflict of interest because they could be conceivably auditing some portion of the state of Nevada? It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. It's also going to be interesting to see if any citizens or that decides to bring up the ethical complaint against the former governor and bring it to the Commission on Ethics and see if that cooling off period really has any legal teeth at this point in time.
Okay.
It's not codified in statute to my knowledge, so it may be something that the legislature might want to look at addressing this session and to see whether this cooling off period is really something that's necessary or not. I know they put a cooling off period on themselves of one session, 2 years, where they couldn't come back and lobby to the legislature. And that was put forth a few years ago by the when the Republicans were in control of the legislature, I believe. So it'd be interesting to see if there's an ethical conflict here or not.
Right.
I don't know if there is. I'm not on the Commission on Ethics. I'm not going to state out and out that the former governor has an ethical conflict here, any more than I want someone to state that I have an ethical conflict if I take another job.
Okay, Daela, are you uncomfortable at all with this arrangement and when the governor announced that he was going to work for MGM?
I actually hadn't considered the ethical dilemma. I didn't realize there was a cooling off period for everyone, but James has brought up a very good point. My thought was, well, since he will be working with properties outside even the country, that maybe that was, once we had started talking about this, maybe that was why he was maybe given a green light. Governor Sandoval honestly seems to be very much a role player to a degree, so I would hope that he got some clearance prior to.
He also tends to be pretty cautious when he makes decisions. I don't think he's doing anything that's going to get him sideways with the Commission on Ethics, but it's just a concern that comes to that I'm voicing.
And I know a lot of people who said, whoa, what?
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, he will be working MGM's move into Japan, so it won't have a Nevada issue. But Dave, we have a new administration now, totally Democratic administration. The legislature, both houses, are controlled by Democrats.
And a majority of women.
Right.
First one in the country, which is fantastic.
For the legislature.
Right.
And also for our Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So what will this new Nevada administration legislature, what do you see coming out of it?
Well, I mean, for the interest of full transparency, I helped try to elect a Democratic congressman. He failed. He failed against Mr. Mark Amadei. So I'm a lefty. I'm a big supporter of the blue wave for a lot of reasons. And although I was a fan of Mr. Sandoval, I think he did a fine job. He was my favorite Republican. But I think Sisolak, fair-minded guy. I don't know if you watched his inauguration, his address, but he broke down in tears. He's a sweet guy. He's got a big heart. I think that having a female majority in the legislature, I think, is a very positive thing. I think that progress happens more quickly. I think I'd like to see more women in power, representative of our population, and I'm very excited about it. I think it's a very refreshing change in the right direction.
Daela, what do you think about the women majority in both the Supreme Court and the legislature?
I think it's fantastic. As last session, we had quite a large number also in 2017, and both the majority leaders and speaker said that it made a difference for what sort of bills were coming out and what was being addressed. To speak to the question of whether I think it's going to be a huge progressive legislative session, I really would say be cautious about that idea, because Governor Sisolak, I definitely supported his election. However, he's also very conservative. He's a conservative businessman, and so I feel that there's going to be some reticence for people to scare other people, moderates and conservatives, with huge changes, and possibly seeing a 2014 again in 2020, and nobody wants that. So I think it's going to be more moderate than people expect.
Okay, we got to stop it right there. Thanks a lot for coming in. We'll be right back to finish up this edition of Nevada Newsmakers after these few words.
A bird's eye captures its surroundings at different heights. At Brian Culpa Photography, we can make your imagination soar over buildings, parks, cityscapes, and beyond. Brian's images tell the story and get the job done. If you need a new perspective to tell your story, contact Brian today. Brian Culpa Photography. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Miner, and I'm sure you'd agree that Nevada's a very special place to live. I was born here, and my husband and I have raised our family here. I feel it's a privilege to live and work in the Truckee Meadows. I especially enjoy helping my clients reach their real estate goals. Sometimes the smallest details provide the greatest satisfaction. I'd be complimented to talk to you about your next move.
Call Marilyn Miner at Dixon Realty, 742-1280, or log on to marilynminer.com.
St. Ives Florist, for every holiday and every special occasion, for romance. Custom home design. We have the largest selection of fresh flowers in northern Nevada, and we also offer a large selection of unique gift items. Come see me, Lori Ann, at St. Ives Florist, 700 South Wells Avenue, or call me at 333-9190.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Thanks for watching. On our next broadcast, our guest will be Ken Adams. He's an international gaming analyst. Thank you.